Hey, what is up, everybody? Jump in here, and today I'm actually going to be showing you some PvP of Dark Souls using my Battle Mage. Now, this is actually kind of old. It's about 2.5 weeks old. The second I got this build to 120, the first thing I did is I went to the Undead Burg and I started PvPing, doing duels. And I was actually pretty lucky because I was able to get into this fight club, and this fight club was a lot of fun. Now, you might actually recognize this first little match here. This was from my other video I put out, which was the Undead Burg Trolls Me. This is the very first match in this fight club, and when I got trolled, that was the second match, which I'm not going to include that into this video because you guys seen it before, potentially. If you haven't, you should go check it out. It's kind of funny. But just the troll itself, I didn't want to put it into this because this is more about the actual fight club that I was involved with, which was like amazing because it was like a long winning streak. I can't even tell you how many matches I won. It might have been like 15 or 16 or something like that. But it was so much fun, guys. Now, just in case you don't know what a fight club is, maybe you haven't really messed with the PvP much yet, or whatever. Because I know a lot of you guys on my channel who've been really enjoying my Dark Souls videos. Well, I've been able to convince some of you guys to pick up the game, and I'm really excited for that because I think that's awesome. This game is just too amazing to not experience. But basically, what a fight club is when someone summons red phantoms into their world, and of course you can be invaded the normal way too, and the red phantoms will fight each other. And what's great about it is that, it can be a lot of fun, the competition, depending on the fight club. Like, if it's a random fight club, it's just going to be totally random. You might fight against some really good players, you might fight against some not so great players, and, just average players. And there's other fight clubs that are like, the competition is rough. I mean, because they set it up and it's like a whole bunch of really good players, and I would get my ass whooped. I'm not that great at the PvP. I'm pretty good, but I'm not like fantastic. There's a lot of people out there that are a lot better than me. And this is so old that I've actually gotten a lot better with this build since I've been playing with it more and more. But you gotta remember, this is when I first got it to 120, and I was still experimenting with the build itself, especially with the idea of using the spear and the great sword, because I didn't really know if that's what I wanted or not. But after doing this, I definitely decided that the spear and the great sword is amazing. But yeah, fight clubs are a lot of fun, and basically, I would say the reason why most people like to do the fight clubs or host the fight clubs is because it's easy souls. If you don't really want to like grind and try to get souls to level up, because to be honest, it seems like I've talked to a couple people and they've been really, really high level, and I'm like, what are you doing exactly? And they're always hosting fight clubs. And basically, the answer is pretty similar each time, which is I'm trying to get max level. And then I'll ask, why do you want to get max level? Because to me, I don't really see the point. The max level is like 700. I don't even know. It's really, really high. And they always come back and just say, I want to do this before Dark Souls 2 comes out. So I guess that makes sense. Like, that's just something that some players just want to achieve. They've probably already done New Game Plus 7, and they've done everything in the game. So why not get the max level? And why not do it legit? So you have to at least give them some credit for doing it legit. And hosting fight clubs are legit. You might say, well, that's not really legit because they're not really working for the souls. They're just watching people fight, and they're getting souls for doing that. But, it's whatever. The only problem sometimes, and it does drive me a little crazy, I'll get into fight clubs where the guy who's hosting is like level 4 or 500. So people who are coming into his world to fight are like level 300. And I'm like 120, and they're wearing super heavy armor, and they're like ninja flipping and fast rolling. And it's like, what the fuck? 99 vitality. That drives me a little nuts sometimes when that happens. But, I guess it's whatever. Anyway, guys, so this battle mage has worked out really well for me. I love this build because this is a build that I just kind of like thought of. There was no outside help or anything like that, because sometimes, I guess, I wouldn't say I copy people's builds, but sometimes other people's builds might inspire me a little bit. But the thing is that, for the most part, the builds in this game aren't really all that different. and I hate to say that, in Dark Souls 2, this will change because a lot of things are a lot different when it comes to like the different attributes and where you're going to want to put your points. So the builds will be a lot more diverse. In this game, unfortunately though, if you're trying to do like a faith-based weapon buff build, well, it's pretty obvious what you're probably going to go for. You're going to probably go for dexterity if that's the kind of weapon you want, or strength if that's the kind of weapon you want. You're going to want at least 30 faith, maybe 40 faith if you can afford it. Probably not, though. 30 faith is pretty much like the cookie cutter kind of faith. And more likely, 50 vitality, 40 endurance, maybe a little bit more endurance if you need it. And there you go. I mean, that's the build. And it's the same thing with sorcery. If you want the sorcery version of that, you just go 40 sorcery maybe, or 44 sorcery if that's what you're trying to do, and just kind of even out the stats. So that is kind of a problem with Dark Souls to some extent. But in Dark Souls 2, like I said, that should change because those attributes are going to be a lot different. And I'm really digging that. Alright, so, one of the things about this build that I really enjoy, although I have to say, I get a lot of hate. I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten hate messages about the fact that I use a spear. It just seems like a lot of people get really upset if you use a spear. I've even had people send me like hate messages and then I'll fight them again and they'll just continue bitching about the spear. And then if I fight them a third time, I'll literally take off the spear because it's like, dude, come on. And I'll even show them, like I'll take it off, I'll switch my weapon, and I'll have a bare fist, and I'm like, look, I don't have my fucking spear. But yeah, it just seems like a lot of people get very frustrated at certain things. And I see why. I mean, there's certain things in Dark Souls PvP that it makes me a little bit mad. But for the most part, a lot of it comes down to like roll BS. Oh, I get roll BS a lot. Poise BS, that's kind of annoying. And dark magic, I guess, can be annoying if you miss your timing and it one-shots you. I mean, that's pretty horrible. But what are you going to do? Alright, so you might notice I've been using these primstones. And I'm sure some of you guys might think I'm like taunting with them, but it's really not about taunting. It was more or less for me to just use it for the Fight Club. Hey, I wanted to make the Undead Bird glitter. I wanted to spaz it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty awesome. I didn't expect to win this many matches in a row. In fact, I thought I was going to be out of there really quickly. One problem with a Fight Club is that if you're trying to use a build that relies a little bit on magic, yeah, you might have an issue if you're in a Fight Club because you might just, use up all your magic right away, which is basically what happened to me. I think by my third match, I had no more Wrath of the Gods left. So from that point on, it was pretty much, well, I have to use my weapon, and that's it. Now, you might have noticed that it seems like I've been fighting the same people over and over again. And yes, that does happen when you're doing a random Fight Club. A lot of times, the same people are just going to be throwing down their signs, and the host will just keep resummoning them. But I had a lot of really good games with a lot of pretty awesome dudes, especially that guy with the scythe. I think I fought him the most. But he was really cool because if you remember my Undead Bird Trolls Me video, I'm pretty sure that was the same guy. Which in the video I got stuck in that corner, and instead of actually killing me, he helped me get out of the corner. So that was really awesome. So big props to that guy for being like really a decent player, because there's a lot of douchebags out there, especially when it comes to Dark Souls. You get stuck in that corner and they're going to take full advantage of that and murder you. But the Great Scythe itself is a really popular weapon. I see that weapon so much. And there's a couple weapons that you do see in PvP a lot. The Moonlight Greatsword, I would say you see it quite a bit, but not as often as you might see like a Katana or the Great Scythe. Now the Great Scythe, I would have to say that that weapon got really popular after Epic Name Bro, who is pretty much the biggest uploader, I would say, for Dark Souls. If you haven't seen any of his videos, you should definitely go check him out, because he does all the lore videos and a lot of PvE stuff, and his stuff is definitely awesome, so check out Epic Name Bro. But he did a video where he was talking about the best dexterity weapon, and in that video at one point he actually basically says that in his opinion, this Great Scythe is the best dexterity weapon. Now, in terms of damage, I would have to agree with him. If that weapon hits you, it is so deadly. But I think the moveset's a little bit limited. Now, this is kind of douchey on my part, I have to be honest, but this is the problem with Power Within. I actually gave him the bow way before he died, but I knew he was done for. It was probably dumb on my part to do that because let's say I kind of misjudged that by like a couple seconds. He would have murdered me, man. He would have destroyed my face because that weapon buff with Power Within is so freaking overpowered, deadly. But the problem is that if you just kind of back up, turtle a little bit, and counterattack, you'll probably kill him because when you have Power Within on, you have to play really aggressive. And unfortunately, it killed him. Anyway, but yeah, Epic Name Bro, he basically came out, said the Great Scythe was like the best dex weapon. Now, after that happened, oh man, that weapon exploded. Everybody started using that weapon. And it's a great weapon, don't get me wrong. My only problem with it, because I'm not a big fan of it personally, but that is because I think the moveset is a little bit limited. And what I mean by that is when you're fighting against the Great Scythe, you kind of know what's coming. They're going to do the running attack. They're going to do the RT attack. So once you realize that, it's kind of easy to counter it because if they're running at you, you're like, oh, they're going to do the running attack. And if they're not running at you, they're probably going to do the power attack. So you just basically need to counter that each time and you really won't have too much trouble. Although if they catch you, they can murder you. It's a very deadly weapon. Unfortunately, the Moonlight Greatsword is a little bit like that too, because I love the running attack. I like the rolling attack. The normal swings are okay, but I mean, they're just your cookie cutter vertical swings. And the charge up attack is amazing, especially if you can hit somebody with it, but let's be honest, it's not like if you're fighting against a Moonlight Greatsword, you won't see that coming. Because they're charging it up, and you're like, okay, yeah, I know what this is. Let me back the hell up and not get hit by that. So, you know, that's something about the Moonlight Greatsword as well. I think some of the best weapons in Dark Souls, which there's a lot of amazing weapons. It's one of the best things about Dark Souls, is that there's just so many weapons to choose from, and there's so many great ones too. But I personally think some of the better weapons are the ones that are a little bit unpredictable. Although, at this late stage of the game, there's not too many weapons that you won't see coming. But there are a couple still that you might do a power move or something, and yeah. Now right here, this guy, I fought this guy multiple times, and this final time when he came in, oh man, he went all out. Power Within, he buffed his weapon, and he caught me with a backstab and a power move, so I pretty much felt like I was dead. I held in there pretty well, but yeah. This is the final match, guys. Anyway, this will be coming to a close real soon. I'm trying to dodge and stay away from him, but I kind of see my death coming. I mean, at this point, though, I was running out of Primstones. Anyway, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, will you please like it for me? And yeah, I hope you guys have a very nice day, and peace out.